Packing for Disney World, there are so many things to consider. Which things are absolutely essential? How many clothes do you need to take? Do I really need to pack that? So today I'm going to break down the things that I am super glad that I did pack because they came in super handy, so you will know what items to take with you. And then next week I'm going to do a video all about the things I wish I hadn't have brought, because essentially they went on a nice little international holiday and they didn't get used. My name is Sophie from Most Magical Guides, and I make videos all about how to plan your own most magical trip to Disney World and Disneyland Paris, packed full of helpful tips. And then I also do videos of my own trips. So if you like this type of content, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and hit the little bell notification so you know whenever I post a new video. So in this video, I'm going to talk about all the things I'm super glad I took with me. Some of them might be obvious, but then some of them might be things that you perhaps haven't thought of or are umming and ahhing about. Do I really need that? So I'm hoping this video will help you know exactly what you need to take with you to Disney World that will enhance your trip. So the first item that I'm super happy I took with me is my poncho. This came in super handy because there was a lot of rain. If you've been seeing my vlogs, there was a lot of rain in the evenings, and it came in super handy to be able to have a poncho on me to keep myself and my belongings dry. Now I have to say I did take this Harry Potter one with me and I did feel like a fraud wearing it in Disney, but it came in handy, so it's all good. Now I bought my poncho in advance of my trip. I've actually had this one for years, and it's just because it is much cheaper than buying them out there, and these are the ones that are kind of long lasting. You won't use them a few times and then need to get rid of them. You can use them again and again and again, and it's super light and easy to pop into a bag, or you could even tie it onto the outside if you needed to. So this was a lifesaver, and I would say definitely take one with you instead of waiting till you're out there to get one in an emergency. The other thing I'm glad that I took with me is a UV umbrella. Now this is the first time I'd actually taken a UV umbrella, and the thing that's great about this is you can use it as shield from the sun, but also in the rain. So in Florida, where it's extremely sunny or extremely rainy, this was absolutely perfect. So this one, it comes with a kind of shiny reflective surface on the outside, and that's great for keeping the sun away. So if you're using it to cool down, this is perfect because it deflects the sun. It also has quite a large canopy, which is again perfect if you need shade, and I definitely did notice the difference. You could definitely feel it was a lot cooler underneath here, and then in the rain it was perfect because it was large enough to cover you, your backpack, things like that, so your things were not getting soaked. Something that when I posted it in my packing video a lot of people thought was quite funny but actually worked out really well for me was my giant water bottle. I took a litre sized water bottle with me, which sounds insane, but it was amazing because it gets so hot in Florida, you're drinking so much, that having this size was perfect. It keeps things cold for 24 hours, and it keeps things hot for 12, and it comes with this little insulated like jacket, so it was absolutely perfect. It kept my bag dry because it had the little jacket, and it was just so cold. It was so nice no matter how long it had been in my bag. So I'd definitely take a bottle with you. That way you are keeping your drinks cool, so you're not having to worry about drinking warm water, which is never fun. And also it's a great way to cut down on cost. It can cost up to $4 for a bottle of water. So I just went to Walmart. I actually took a suitcase with me so I could buy all my drinks, and that's a good tip if you're solo. Just take a little suitcase to the supermarket with you and fill it up with things. But I did that, and it was super cheap to buy water that way, and then just filled up my bottle each day and took it with me. Something that was a lifesaver out there was this little fan. I absolutely loved using this. Even though it's small, it was quite powerful. It was perfect for when you were standing in queues, and the way this works, you can also stand it up, so if you were eating you could put it on a table, things like that. You could also put water in here, so you could have like a little bit of a mist. So it had everything, and it's so small and light, so it's perfect to put in my bag. Again, you could attach it because it's got a little carry thing, and yeah, definitely guys, get a fan. You're gonna need it. You're gonna be so thankful for it, and it was not expensive either. I bought it online. I think it's about £14, so really good price, and it was so nice. So as I say, once it's open, you can kind of set it in different positions, so it's really handy to put on tables, things like that. And it has 3 different settings. It has like a nice little gentle breezy setting, which is nice. Then it has like a more powerful setting. It's getting cold. It's very very, very comfortable now, and then it goes insane. And this was the setting I used all the time, and it was so nice, and I would highly recommend getting a fan. It was a game changer. I also took with me a plug adapter, but the thing that was really cool about this one is it is a USB one, so I could just plug my devices into it, so it meant I didn't have to take so many plugs and things like that. Now, if you go to Disney hotels, nearly all of them, or perhaps even now all of them, do have USB sockets. I think a lot of rooms have been renovated, so they include them now, but when I went to Universal, that wasn't the case, so I am glad that I did take my adapter. Originally, I was thinking, do I bother, do I not? And I'm so glad I did, because I wouldn't be able to charge things otherwise. I think it's really handy now that you can get these ones that have the USB, just because practically everything I took with me, in fact I think everything I did take with me was USB charged, so this was absolutely perfect, and it just saves on having to take loads of different adapters. Something that was important for someone like me was motion sickness medication, so I did take some with me from the UK. This I had actually bought in my last trip to Disney World, so I had some of these as well, and then I did buy some Dramamine whilst I was out there. I was trying it all just to see which ones work and which ones didn't for me. If you suffer from motion sickness, definitely try some motion sickness medication, because it does make it a lot easier to go on rides and not feel as unwell, or in some cases not feel unwell at all. And I would say, yeah, they are an absolute lifesaver. I could not travel without these, so I always make sure I pack these. Another thing that was super handy in my trip were plasters, and most specifically blister plasters. Now, I've actually used all of them up, so I don't have any to show you, but I did end up suffering with a lot of blisters, even though my shoes were ones that I had worn before. I think just because you're walking so much and your feet are also warm, blisters happened. Wearing blister plasters were a game changer. Normal plasters were okay, but the blister plasters really helped them recover quicker, and it was so comfortable. Blisters can really ruin your trip if you're in a lot of pain, so I'd definitely take plasters with you just as a precaution. Pop some in your bag, and then if you do have any issues with blisters, at least you can carry on your holiday in more comfort. Something I took this time, which I hadn't taken before, was some water shoes, and I actually got these for going to the water parks. Now, unfortunately for me, I only ended up going one day. I was going to go to Volcano Bay, but because of the hurricane, my plans changed. But these were amazing. I used these in Typhoon Lagoon. It was just comfortable walking around, because the floor, if it was too hot, didn't matter because you had little shoes on, and I just really enjoyed it. It felt a bit more hygienic, stuff like that. And because these ones don't have any metal on them, I was able to wear them on the slides as well. I didn't have to ever take them off. So when I was in the lazy river, the pool, slides, anywhere walking around, I could wear these. So they came in super handy, and these were like £8. They were unbelievably cheap, so I would definitely use these again. I do think different water parks have different rules. I've got a feeling Volcano Bay you cannot wear water shoes onto the slides, but they do have a place to leave your shoes at the entrance to the slides, so you could still walk around in them, and it saves your feet from the hot floor. So for £8, they're definitely worth taking with you. Something that I wear all the time and was super handy in Florida were some chub rub shorts. So these are from Snag Tights, and basically I wore these under any skirts or dresses, and then it just prevented me from having uncomfortable chafing. They're so comfortable, they're very breathable, they're light, they're not tight, they don't dig into you. They're just like the perfect type of chub rub short. So I wore these practically every day. Nearly everything I wore was a skirt or a dress, and I could not have travelled without them. I had them in different colours. These were good for dresses that were kind of more nude colour or white, something like that, because these are flesh coloured, but they do a huge range of different flesh tones and also colours. So I took some yellow ones and some pink ones too, just for fun, and I absolutely love them. They're so comfy, and I could not wear the sort of outfits I like to wear without them. I would just be in agony. I've tried lots of other things, like you can get something called Silky from Lush. I've tried like creams or kind of like gel things, but these are just so comfy. You put them on and you just forget about it. You don't have to do anything, don't have to keep touching things up throughout the day. You just put them on and forget, and they are absolutely amazing. Now, if you're staying at a Disney resort, something that I think is super handy is a magic band. I actually got this one for free at my stay in 2018. It was included as part of the package. Unfortunately, that isn't the case anymore, but I was impressed to know that it still worked even after 4 years. It's just so handy. It's your key to get into your door. It's your ticket to get into the parks. It's your lightning lane reservations, everything like that is all on your band. So it's just so handy to tap things. And in fact, when I come home, I find it really irritating to not have a magic band. I want to be able to get into my house, pay for things, just do everything on my wrist. I don't want to have to be faffing about. So I very much miss a magic band when I'm home. You can buy lots and lots of different designs of magic bands. I was looking at possibly getting another one whilst I was out there, and then because this one was working, I completely forgot about that, so I didn't end up doing it. But I super really enjoy using this. It's just so handy, so convenient. You're not potentially going to lose things by getting keys out or tickets out. Everything's just kept on here, and it's so convenient. Some items I took with me that were specifically because I had plantar fasciitis were some compression socks. So I would wear these overnight, and it would really help reduce swelling, and it was just so comfortable, and it really meant that I was able to kind of manage my plantar fasciitis and just have a more comfortable time when over there. So I'm so glad I took this with me. I actually took two, so I wore one on the other foot, even though that doesn't have plantar fasciitis. But with the amount of walking you're doing, you may find that your feet do swell a little bit, so it was super helpful with that, and just reducing that down and just being super comfy. And the other item I took because of my plantar fasciitis was this roller. So this is kind of, it looks more like a dog toy really, but it's got little kind of like spiky bits on it, and you roll your foot across it and it kind of massages it. And this was perfect for the end of the days. That is when the plantar fasciitis can kind of be most tender, and it's also when you can kind of feel it's kind of like, I don't know if it's shrunk, but you know what I mean, it feels like it's tensed up or something. So using this really helps stretch it out. And yeah, I use this every day, multiple times a day, and it really helped me enjoy my time at Disney World because it was helping relieve my plantar fasciitis. But it was just really good to get that foot massage in, and it was kind of easy to fit into the case. It's not very heavy. So this was a lifesaver. Something that I took this trip, which was my first time using it in America, although I have used it in Europe, was my Starling card. Now, I really enjoy using this because basically what I do is I just put all of my holiday money onto the card, and then I know I'm not spending it in my usual bank account and accidentally have used some of my holiday money up. It's all waiting on this card. You have a really handy app so you can keep an eye on how much you're spending. You can transfer money back and forth if you need to. And what I really love is they also give you notifications. So whenever you buy something, you get a little notification on your phone to say how much it was in dollars and how much that was in UK currency, which was super handy because you knew throughout your trip how much you were spending. I've never had any problems using the Starling card. I've used it in America and across Europe. Always been absolutely fine. No issues whatsoever. It's really great because there's no fees. It's got a really good exchange rate, and that's the main reason I went with Starling. So because I had plantar fasciitis, I needed to go with a really good pair of trainers. So I took these New Balance with me. I would say it is vital to get good shoes, and it's important to sometimes think about function over fashion. It's very easy to buy shoes that look really cool, but if they aren't giving the right support, your feet are going to pay for it. Because I had the plantar fasciitis, which I developed after a trip to Disneyland Paris, I decided to get some proper shoes. Luckily for me, I have a specialist shoe shop here, and I went in and they do lots of tests. They measure your gait, where the pressure points are on your feet, and then they can recommend shoes specifically for you. So I got these. They have been so comfortable ever since, and I also bought some specialist insoles to go in with them. So I got these specialist insoles that I can put in all my different shoes. I can just take them in and out and swap them between my shoes, which is perfect. And I bought them because one of the reasons I have plantar fasciitis is because my foot tips inwards slightly when walking, and then it stretches that area of the foot, and this helps keep the foot upright and in the right position, and it makes such a difference. I would say if you do have any foot problems, definitely go and see a foot specialist or a shop that helps you pick shoes specifically for you, and you're going to have such a better time at Disney for it. And also you're not going to be putting pressure or potentially damaging your feet. So I would definitely recommend getting the right footwear because you will be thankful for it later. Your feet will be so much more comfortable and happy because of it. And yeah, this was probably the best thing I bought, getting the right shoes and a variety of different shoes to take with me to Orlando. So some things that I think were really essential were some sandals that you can actually strap up. So whilst in Florida, I was using trainers a lot, but in the bad weather, you couldn't really wear trainers because they just got soaked and would take days to dry. Although top tip, I put them in the boot of my car overnight, and because it gets so hot inside the car, that helped them dry a lot quicker. So that is a good tip if your trainers have got wet and you're hiring a car. But for all the other days, what I started doing was wearing these sandals. Now I also had some sliders with me, but in the rain they were useless because you were sliding. sliding, of course. But with these, they were strapped on and then they dried really quickly. So if your feet got wet, it didn't matter. And I ended up using these loads. These are Tiva sandals. So they're really good because they are really cushioned. They kind of really support your feet. And they were something that was recommended to me because of plantar fasciitis. And yeah, they were so comfortable. So I'd absolutely take these again and buy some more pairs. And some other shoes that I highly recommend are Ufus. So these are actually called recovery sliders, and they are specifically made to help your feet. So they are built for feet. They have support in all the right places, and a lot of people that do marathons, stuff like this, use these to help their feet recover after their training. They are so comfortable. I cannot tell you, it's like walking on a cloud. They've got a really thick sole, and it's kind of like a dip shape, so when you're walking it's so comfortable because it's so cushioned. These were recommended to me by the shop where I got my specialist shoes because I needed them for my plantar fasciitis, and I'm so glad I took these. The only downside was if it was bad weather and raining, you would slip all over the place, so I would not wear these in the rain. Instead I would go with the Tivas, but these were so comfortable and I raved about them in my vlogs. But they are just the best shoes. If you've ever seen any of my packing videos, then you know what's coming. It is, of course, packing cubes. I am obsessed with these. They help you fit so much more into your case, and it's unbelievable how much space you save. And when you're going to Florida, particularly for a long period of time, I was there for 3 weeks, using these were essential. Not only so that when I was going out, I had lots of space in my case, but when I was coming back, that I could compress things and fit them into my case by putting them into these little bags. I use them mostly for clothing, and you fit so much into them. It's unbelievable. Something that's this size, which is kind of like the size of a sheet of paper, I actually put 5 days worth of clothes for Universal in this size. It's unbelievable. So you save so much space. It's revolutionised the way I travel. In fact, I went to Disneyland Paris earlier this year just taking a backpack because the packing cubes helped me fit so much in. So when you're going to Florida, when you need a lot of things and you need space for the way home, then you need to get one of these. Like, you can get them in all different sizes. You normally get a variety pack of different sizes, and yeah, I can't travel without them now. They are amazing. Something that is super obvious to pack is sunscreen. I like to get quite a high factor. I get a factor 50. I actually took way too much with me. I overestimated how much I would need, but what's really great is having a few different sizes. So I had like a large bottle to use in the room, and then a smaller size to put in my bag so I could top up throughout the day. I actually had one even smaller than this. It was like a tiny miniature one, and it was just great to have on you. And it is so hot and you so often need to top up, so definitely don't forget sunscreen. And I would definitely say get some smaller ones to put in your bag, because then you're saving yourself carrying it around. It's not so heavy and it's just super easy to top up throughout the day. Something that I take everywhere I go with me are little earplugs. It may seem like an odd thing, but I have a real hard time sleeping. I'm a very light sleeper, so noise instantly wakes me up. So I always take these. It's really good for places like on the plane and just wearing in the hotel rooms. I have to say that most of my hotels are really quiet. I stayed at Cabana Bay and it was unbelievably quiet. It was so nice in the room. All Stars, again, very rarely you would hear someone walking past your room, but that was it. I didn't hear people in the rooms. I would say Animal Kingdom Lodge was quite a noisy resort. I could hear people in the other rooms, in the corridors, outside. So these were super handy. And this might seem really daft, but something that was essential to take is your phone. And the reason a phone is so important is because there's so much you can do with it. Not only can you take photos and videos of your trip, but you can also book your dining reservations, book your lightning lane reservations, book your park reservations, check your plans. There's so many things you can do on the My Disney Experience app. And then of course you can also keep in contact with people, post updates on social media. So although it is possible now to be on your phone a lot more than you used to be, I still found that it didn't take over the trip. That was something I was worried about, needed to be constantly on the phone. And I didn't find that. When I was doing stuff like reservations, it takes maybe a minute. if that. So you were on it for short bursts of time. It was so nice to be able to chat with people on social media, specifically because I was doing a solo trip, so you never felt lonely because I was chatting to loads of people. So thank you all for all of your messages. It was so nice. But there's just so much you can do with a phone these days. You can look up directions, you can look up times of things, opening hours, everything you need you can do on a phone. So it's obviously an essential to take with you. So those are all my essential items that I took with me to Disney World. I think some of them are really obvious, and some of them maybe less so. So I hope that you can learn from this, that things you might want to think about packing, because all of these I found so handy and I used all throughout my trip. Make sure you tune in next week, because I'm going to be telling you all the things I wish I hadn't have taken. They just ended up being cumbersome. I took them all the way to America and never used them. And so hopefully you can avoid that pitfall and be able to pack more smartly than I did by learning which things I do not recommend taking with you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, I hope you have a most magical day. Bye bye.